Welcome, everybody, to the live edition of the Streakers Island podcast. It is I, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst, and joined by, once again, Mr. Moore for your money.
Woo!
Well, we both called it tonight, Mr. Moore for.
We did.
We said the Elks would find a way, and the Elks found a way. But what I thought was very interesting at the end of this game, and I'm not sure if you listened to Jason Moss's post-game interview. But he basically threw the defense under the bus. Saying that, you know what, at the end of the day there, you're expecting a stop with our defense. Which, I'll be honest with you, I felt the exact same way. I did too. All credit to Cody Fajardo. And this is the difference between a Cody Fajardo versus a Trey Ford in these situations. You have a veteran quarterback. No, it's true, though. Yeah, that's not a stab at Trey Ford. You have a veteran quarterback with a lot of experience who can make those plays in key moments. Like Cody Fajardo, let's be honest, the Edmonton offense was nothing exciting for the first half.
No.
And then the second half, they managed 2 touchdowns and a field goal. And you just felt there at the end of the day, Cody Fajardo understood the assignment, especially between MBT and Caleb Evans. Neither one of them are, I'm just going to say it, neither one of them are starting quarterbacks in the CFL. And damn, they're not. I get that you want to marry McLeod Buffalo Thompson and be a but at the end of the day, I'm sorry, MBT again tonight was bad. He went 10 for 15, 79 yards, and an interception. Caleb Evans, to his credit, actually played pretty well. 14 for 18, 113 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. So, he actually did his job, but Cody Fajardo just seemed to understand the assignment. And he talked about, too, Fajardo, how he feels he's always the best when the game's on the line. And I actually agree with that. I've been a fan of Cody Fajardo back when he was in Saskatchewan. Everyone said he was a bum. But I'm going to call it, has Saskatchewan done any better without Cody Fajardo? And the answer is no. No, it's not. What Grey Cup do they have? What Grey Cup appearance do they have? Yeah, Trevor Harris has put up great numbers in Saskatchewan. But to say that he has made the team better, I don't know. I think actually they're pretty similar quarterbacks. They're both very accurate. They both like to do the screens and the short plays.
And say that Cody Fajardo is more mobile than Trevor Harris is plays clear? I would.
And now you have Cody Fajardo in his last 3 starts, like throwing between 250 and just over 300 yards every start. And again, only 1 interception to multiple TDs. I think it's like 6-1 right now on the touchdown to interception ratio. And that goes a long way. There was no critical error for Edmonton, and Montreal made a couple. And I think that's what it comes down to. You look at Montreal, the interception on MBT, the missed field goal that gives Montreal the ball back, and then they fumble, sending an all-out blitz in a situation that made no sense, all-out blitz at the end of the game. Because Cody Fajardo is very effective under the blitz, especially if Edmonton that doesn't have an O-line. He has to be.
Yeah, for sure.
So now all of a sudden you look at Montreal, who has only won 1 of their last 3.
Yeah.
Not looking, to be honest, they're not looking so hot.
Mm-hmm.
They are now going by the end of this week, they will only be up 4 points of either Toronto or Ottawa.
Call me crazy, okay?
Crazy.
Maybe I'm incorrect here. This is my gut feeling. I know Mr. Daskar earlier in our comments was saying that he had zero faith in his Tiger Cats after last night's overtime loss. I'm not a fan of either team, but I would be more concerned if I was Montreal fan now than a Hamilton fan.
I would, just because I don't know when Davis Alexander's back.
Right.
Because with Davis Alexander, like, let's be honest here. Montreal, with and without Alexander, are 2 very different teams.
Yeah.
Like, and now without him, I would guess you're going to go to Caleb Evans Your next game's against BC if you're Montreal.
I think after tonight's game, you have to go Caleb Evans. I think he deserved to start. I love Bethel Thompson, and he played okay at times at the beginning of the game, I will say. But I think what the game-changing moment is when he overthrew that ball with Speaker. I know everyone,
and then the very next plays an interception.
Right. I know a lot of people are going to say that the game changer was the interception or different plays, but I think the game changer of this game, the TSN turning point. By the way, we're not sponsored by TSN, but maybe we could be. I think that turning point was actually the miss overthrown ball with Speaker, because if Buffalo Thompson connected a touchdown, it would have been a 2-score, a 2 or 3 score.
It would have became a 2-score game. Yeah. All the momentum going into the half.
Right.
Instead, it's an interception that's a pick 6 that makes it a 2-point game. And now you look at your score, Montreal lost by 1. Right? It's you always say it. It's hard to win games when you make critical errors. And Montreal tonight, in my opinion, made 2 critical errors at least. One you could call a play calling decision. But 2 critical errors. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Edmonton made a critical error tonight. No.
The only thing I would say, I don't know if it's an error, but Cody Fajardo had no time in the pocket whatsoever.
That's a critical error.
That's the weak point I see. The way he got sacked 6 times tonight. The way I look at it, Cody Fajardo didn't get sacked 6 times. This game might have been a blowout. If Cody Fajardo had more time to throw more bombs, holy cow. When have you ever heard winning a CFL game when you've been sacked 6 times? I don't remember seeing that in my lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like when we do our custom props, for example.
Yeah.
Our one prop is usually whether it be 2 sacks or 3 sacks. This dude got sacked 6 times, bro, in one game. That's more than a sack per quarter. That's a sack and a half per quarter.
It's definitely a major problem for Edmonton, but that's more of I'm gonna say a talent level than a critical error, because most of the sacks weren't people just missing their assignments. I think there was maybe only one. They were just. You gotta remember, Montreal has got one of the best defenses in the CFL, and I think that's why Jason Moss, to be honest, is frustrated with the way that game ended. But I'm just gonna say this too: this is why Cody Fajardo has been able to hang around the CFL as long as he has. Yeah. He can just make correct reads. I want to read you a stat line here through the last 3 games.
Yeah.
6 touchdowns, 1 interception. 900, and he had 41 yards to 1 game. He's at 999, so 950 some odd yards over the last 3 games. His quarterback efficiency rating is 119.6, the highest in the entire league.
Wow.
To put into perspective, he is only 32 yards behind Zach Collaros right now for passing yards.
That's pretty crazy.
And that's kind of my point, right? It's all of a sudden you're looking at, and I said this earlier, as much as I agreed with Edmonton going to Trey Ford this year to start the year, all Edmonton fans are going to.
See, I didn't. I thought it should have been Cody Fajardo from the beginning.
When you signed Ford to that contract, you had to give him a runway.
How many years do they have on their contract?
I think it's a 3-year deal, but you can just cut him if you decide to. But what I'm getting at is, now if you're Edmonton, look, it's going to be a tough road, but you're able to keep your season alive a little bit longer. And Cody Fajardo right now, you could argue, is playing like he is one of the best quarterbacks in the CFL. He is tied for the best touchdown to interception percentage on pass plays. We had 0.9%. And I get this is in less games than a guy like Bo Levi Mitchell, where he is, but you're looking at Fajardo, 76.6% of his passes are completions.
Yeah,
you're getting a guy that battles. You're getting a guy that's willing to run the ball. You're getting a guy that I think, too, the teammates just love him. The coaches love him. Yeah. And I think Edmonton desperately needed leadership more than anything else. And you definitely got it done.
I totally agree.
And hey, you know what? I am not sad tonight because I did project the Edmonton Elks were going to win Key today. Said the Elks have this one in the bag.
I even said it too. I just had a gut feeling that Cody Fajardo was going to come out like a baller and do it against his former team, and he just squeezed it out. Then, I gotta say here, maybe this is an unpopular opinion answer, but I'm just going to say it. I'm going to call it the Montreal fans. We talk about Hamilton getting cocky at times. I think the fans are too cocky.
I agree.
They were up by like 1 point, and they go kick the field goal in the third quarter, mind you. And we start seeing Ole. I'm like,
that was bad.
And the guy missed. So talk about bad karma.
Maltos is having a hell of a season.
Oh, I like him. He's a good dude. He's cool.
Perfect from over 50 this year. Actually, maybe you're going to think I'm nuts again. I actually think he may be getting NFL looks throughout this season. Because
for sure. When he's
hitting these 55-yard kicks, he could be hitting it from 60 plus.
Easy. And that's with a CFL ball. NFL ball is smaller and lighter. So what can you do in NFL? 70-yard kicks? And the NFL, they post are at the end of the end zone, right? But still, it's like, he's 8 for 8 in his career.
We will be on for more than 10 minutes, so don't worry, Key. We will be here. Drive safe. Very safe.
Yep.
2 hands on the wheel. 10-2. Don't be like Dan. No cutting in and out.
No, but this is a good opportunity here. Don't make fun of it. I mean, everyone enjoys a sporting event, which we should. They may have a couple drinks or whatever, having a good time, or may just be amped up. And the key is, no matter how amped up you are, you still got to drive safe.
100%.
We see so many, unfortunately, we see so many accidents happen after sporting events. Let's be real here. Unfortunately, it's a legitimate problem. So, we poke fun, sir, but don't drink and drive safe.
Now,
mindset in a live episode.
Dan always bringing in the island mindsets. He's an island boy.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, Dan, if you're Montreal, you have the BC Lions next.
Yep.
Who has been, you know what? My mother drives with 2 hands, Keith Smith. My mother.
I don't.
I do if I'm on the racetrack.
Yeah, it's going to have to balance if you're on the racetrack for sure.
And yeah, you know what? One-handed driving is definitely comfy. But you look at Montreal now, right? I hate to say it. The BC Lions are looking good. Nathan Rourke is starting to finally look like a
100-yard game is pretty decent.
Pre-NFL stint. So you have the Lions, the Bombers, and then the Tiger Cats.
That's
and the Rough Riders over your next 4.
Wow.
That is your easiest game out of your next 4 is the Bombers. Maybe. And I still can't count the Bombers out yet. The Alouettes have got a tough road.
They do.
And I'm trying to remember what week how many weeks Alexander's been injured for. So it was during that.
Well, Buffalo Thompson's 1-3, right? So is that 4?
So he's been out 3 weeks so far.
3 weeks, yeah, okay.
And he's on the 6-game injured list. So he's going to be out probably at least the next 3, which is BC, Winnipeg, Hamilton. And I could see them, mind you, at this point now, if Montreal, let's say, loses 2 out of those next 3, you could see them, and I hope they don't because player safety is so critical. I'm boring Dan so much he's yawning about it. But Davis Alexander may get rushed back in. And this is where you're really going to question why did you play him against Dan. If you continue to lose, there is a chance you rush him back just because you're desperate for a win. Look, you got to remember, Montreal after tomorrow will only be 4 points ahead of either Ottawa or Toronto.
Yeah.
And Toronto still plays them once, and so does Ottawa.
Right.
Like, Montreal has they made such a critical mistake by rushing Alexander back. Because, let's be honest, without Alexander, this team looks very different. Like, just to kind of go over some games previously of Alexander. Like, you know, you beat Toronto 28-10, Ottawa 39-18, Edmonton 38-28. Then Alexander gets hurt, you get creamed by Hamilton. Then you lose to BC. Then you barely beat Toronto. Then you barely beat Calgary. Then you get smoked by the Riders. Then you barely beat Edmonton, which statistically is the worst team in the Canadian Football League. Mind you, I think Edmonton
might change tonight.
I think Edmonton, truthfully, their last 3 games where they're 1-2, they could have went on a 3-0 stretch.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
they've been playing very good football in all 3 phases. And
well, one score differences, right?
Cody Fajardo, I really do feel has been the difference. Like I really feel that Cody Fajardo is the main reason why you are seeing what you are seeing right now from this Elks team.
That's the only change, really.
And the defense has been a lot better, but I think the defense has been a lot better too because they're just not on the field the whole game.
Why? And they have more confidence in their offense. I feel like if they work hard to get a stop, the offense has the opportunity to get them back in the game, right?
You do. So now if you're Edmonton on the flip side, your best chance for the Elks to make the playoffs is through the East. I think we can all agree to that. So you just beat Montreal in the East. Next, after that, you got Toronto on the 15th and Ottawa on the 22nd.
We're winnable games.
If Edmonton wins both of those games, you legitimately have a chance of sneaking into the East. I'm glad you're not texting and driving, Key. But yeah, the smoking from Saskatchewan was, hey, you know what? They did absolutely get destroyed by the Rough Riders. But I still do wonder, you know what? Even if Trevor, I'm not saying Trevor Harris is a bad quarterback, by the way. Trevor Harris,
no, he's a great quarterback
in the CFL. But it was just to my point when everyone in Riderville was kind of saying, "Oh, Cody Fajardo is the reason why we haven't been able to get it done." Well, Cody Fajardo got it done without you, right? And I even wonder that for Montreal. Are Montreal fans feeling that way about trading Fajardo for MBT?
I would if I was a Montreal fan.
Now, I think they did that more so Alexander felt like it was his team, and I think they wanted to give this team to Alexander because he played very well for them last year. And Alexander, let's actually address that. Davis Alexander has been playing very well this year when he's been healthy. Like, let me find. Oh, look up quarterback stats, and weirdly enough, we get Janarian Grant, who's 1 for 1. Davis Alexander is still 7th in the CFL in passing yards currently. 1,037 yards. 1,006 yards. 6 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Efficiency rating of 107. Right versus MBT, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Efficiency rating of 77.7. There's your that is a huge. Like, just from one perspective of quarterbacks who are playing better right now in MBT, you got Chris Strevler. You have Trey Ford. You have Caleb Evans, actually, technically. Like, just when you're looking at these quarterbacks that are better, obviously, Zach Calera, I was reading Zach Calera still at 89.1. Like, MBT is the only one that's really lower than him who have been actually starting in games. PJ Walker with 1 start, 52.6. Jake Mayer, even his 1 start, 94.5 efficiency rating, right? And Matthew
he looked good in his 1 start.
Dustin Crum's at a 74.5 just because he's not efficient throwing the ball. I mean, he's a dog the way he runs. But that's the problem. MBT doesn't have that running ability either, right?
Correct.
And in my opinion, he's never recovered from going to the UFL.
Yeah, I know we were talking about that when we were watching the game. And I hate to say it, I'm a big Buffalo Thompson fan, but it looks like he was so many years has been undefeated by far of a time. And maybe this season, you're like, okay, his age is starting to catch up to him. I still think he could be a useful player in the CFL. I really do. I think he'd be a really good leader in the locker room and on the bench and help a young quarterback. Like, imagine if like Trey Ford, like look at last year. Last year, a prime example. Trey Ford had a great last year. So great last year that they gave him the 3-year contract to be the starting quarterback. But we all forgot who was Trey Ford's backup last year. That's right, Bethel Thompson. Yeah, I could see him be really good as a mentor for a quarterback. It's just that before, when he was in Edmonton, like, oh, well, he's back up on paper, but he could still be a franchise quarterback. He could still be a starter. He's really good. If Trey Ford has a bad day, just put him in, no problem, blah, blah, blah. And now you have Montreal this year, like, I don't know, because he's, 36, 37? It's starting, like, it's starting to catch up to him a little bit, unfortunately, which is kind of sad to see, because you can't say Montreal's got a bad O-line. You can't say Montreal's got bad receivers. You can't say, okay, maybe Montreal's winning games.
Well, now mind you, though, Dan, you are, you don't have Austin Mack. You don't have Tyson Philpott.
That was a big loss.
A so-so running game. But, I mean, look at Alexander Hollins. I actually thought he was starting to get going a bit tonight.
Well, that's what I mean. You have Hollins, you have Speaker, who, Bethel Thompson didn't overthrow the ball. Easy would have been a touchdown, probably would have changed the game, right? So you still have a couple of very good receivers on Montreal. Like, no disrespect to Edmonton at all, but we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and we were saying with Elks Lewis, who does Edmonton have? And my argument on the island was Edmonton had Gittins Jr. And you point out when Gittins Jr. was Argo, he was maybe third or fourth best receiver. And now in Edmonton, he's arguably the top guy.
Well, it's interesting, though, you mentioned that. It seems like Fajardo is kind of starting to use Justin Rankin a lot more in the passing game. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes, I have.
The running game not working. Rankin, I think, had 5 catches. I knocked over my bat from 2001. Don't want to do that in the StreamYard deck. But and Julian, and it was interesting too in the post-game interview of Cody Fajardo when they were talking to him about Julian Grant, who, to be honest, over the last couple games has been taking a lot of heat. You had him drop a catch in the end zone against Hamilton.
Yeah,
he had another drop today on a play that would have been a first down. But Cody Fajardo said, I just kept saying to him, you're a baller. I'm going to keep throwing you the ball. And sure enough, who gets the game-winning touchdown, dragging an Alouette DB from his waist? None other than Julian Grant, right? So I think it's that leadership from Cody Fajardo. And maybe with Fajardo, you got to remember his first year in Montreal, he didn't have the year they won they didn't win the Grey Cup, but that was the year Toronto won. But this first year there, with a bunch of receivers who weren't known as star receivers, he turned that receiving core into a very good receiving core.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Right? So you just have to look, and maybe Cody Fajardo can do that to this receiving core. I thought that Victor had an excellent game tonight for Edmonton.
Yeah, he's one I can see as younger, but has a lot of potential. I just want to jump in here for a quick second, Jacob, to remind people on the island the Never Spoke we follow is the MLB. The Blue Jays are playing tonight against Los Angeles. It is in the 5th inning, and the Jays are up 1-0. Max Scherzer has started, has played all 4 innings so far, and has got 3 strikeouts. So it's been a very tight defensive
what a turnaround
game.
It's been for Scherzer this year.
Oh, it's been incredible. 41 years old. I'm like, wow.
He's older than me, and I'm an old fart.
He's older than me. He's almost as old as Chazzy.
Wrinkles here. I'm getting old.
Exactly.
But
that's why it's sad to see Bethel Thompson, because he's 36, 37.
That's old for football. Dan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but Trevor Harris is 39. Aaron Rodgers is 42.
I
mean, Max Scherzer is like 41. Like, nowadays with technology and diets and exercise and stuff, you can play in the 40s. Look at Ovechkin broke the goal record at 39. Look at Crosby at 37. He's still arguably the best two-way center in the league. So I do think it's still hope for Bethel Thompson to bounce back. But at this point, I think next game you have to start Caleb Evans. I think he deserved it.
But this is something that I found very interesting. So Cody Fajardo, and I know you talked about how Edmonton doesn't have a superstar receiving core. Can you guess how many receivers tonight had at least 4 catches?
Oh, that's the thing. As a unit, they're very good.
Don't go on and on. Just answer my question.
5.
6.
Wow.
6. And that Rankin, 4 catches.
That could have been a flop.
Victor, 4 catches. Grant, 5 catches. Smith, 4 catches. Dunbar, 4 catches.
Dunbar, he's good.
So what that does, let's be honest, your running game was crap. But the way you're spreading out the football, defenses don't know who to cover. Because Fajardo it's kind of like what I talked about the Buffalo Bills last year. Instead of having one superstar receiver that you always go to, you spread the love. You're like,
right, yeah.
Mwah, and mwah, mwah. And that is what Edmonton, I feel, with Trey Ford just wasn't happening. Like, you felt Trey Ford really went to his guys, where Cody Fajardo was just taking who's ever open.
Yes, for sure.
And he's reading defense as well. He's changing plays on the fly. And then you go to Montreal. You have multiple guys with only 1 catch. I still don't know why Alexander Hollins is not being used more.
Yeah, he looked good tonight.
He did, but still only 4 targets, 2 catches for 23 yards. And
I know, I'm saying instead of using them more because right? two catches he made were good ones.
No, I understand that, but I was saying they're not using that weapon enough. And it's also hard. Montreal ran the ball by committee tonight, but they did a decent job. With Arlington before he got hurt, 33 yards on 8 carries. These 29 yards on 8 carries. 10 yards on 4 carries. They ran the ball enough. And actually, I do want to give Caleb Evans some credit here. 14 for 18, 113, and a touchdown. I thought Caleb Evans played very, very well.
He did, 100%.
But now both these teams obviously have to look forward. And like I said, Edmonton's got that eastern swing. Montreal's got a bit of a western swing. Like, Montreal, we could be talking in 2 weeks about this team being in some trouble.
Yeah.
If the chips fall a certain way. Like, let's say, hypothetically, Toronto or Ottawa one of them will win tomorrow. One of them wins next week. Montreal loses next week. All of a sudden, Montreal's only 2 points ahead for second in the East. And that's the huge issue right now for Montreal. They had such a hot start, and now all of a sudden, you're looking at other teams thinking that, wow, you might not be making the playoffs.
Well, that's
Davis Alexander. He was out on the week of July 22nd. You might not see him back until at least Labor Day.
Right, yeah.
And I'm very concerned. I am way more concerned about Montreal than about Hamilton.
That's the thing with the CFL. We always say, is to have more teams. Well, I still think they do. But the advantage by having a small league is you only have 9 teams. There's only so many players in the world out there. The actual players on the paper are very, very, very comparable. Mm-hmm. And because of that, any team can beat any team on any given night. Tonight is prime example. Edmonton's last in the league by far, and Montreal second in the East. And Edmonton won. Yeah, by 1 point, but still they won. Which you don't really see upsets like that in basketball, for example, right?
No.
Baseball. Look at when the Jays hit Colorado, for example, right? So that's the thing with football. Anyone can be any team one night.
Very true, Mr. Morfor. And now, all of a sudden, the standings just get that much tighter.
Yeah.
You're looking, Edmonton was desperate, especially with BC getting a win. Edmonton will be watching that Winnipeg-Calgary game very closely, and Edmonton's going to be cheering their little hearts out for Calgary, which is kind of like Toronto fans cheering for Hamilton last night. Yeah. But because you got to look at it, if Winnipeg loses, Edmonton's now only 4 points behind Winnipeg all of a sudden, right? So with still about half the season left to go, there is still legitimately time for Edmonton to make a playoff push. It's not going to be an easy push, with about 10 games left. They probably got to win 7.
We're about
and remember, too, one of those games are still against Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, if Winnipeg continues to play so-so football, Edmonton goes on a bit of a hot streak. Again, like they have Toronto next week, then Ottawa the week following. 2 humongous games for the Elks. Then, of course, you got the Labor Day back-to-backs with Calgary, Labor Day Classic, and then the rematch the following week. Like, if this is Edmonton's chance to make the playoffs, will be, I think, these next 2 weeks will be critical, obviously, and you can't look too far ahead for Edmonton. You just got to go 1-0 every week. But they kept the spirits alive tonight, and Montreal, I started to see frustration out of that bench. They look put off. The coach throwing the defense under the bus. And I mean, I do agree with him, but I didn't agree with him calling the defense out in the media because I don't think it was from lack of effort. To be honest, I think it was some bad play calling.
Actually, I think the defense played pretty well, to be honest.
Not good enough.
They had 6 sacks.
Drive down the whole
they kept the team under 20. They kept the team at 22 points.
I don't care. Not enough.
I mean, what more do you want? Interception,
you want them
maybe?
to get a stop. You want them to be able to not let Fajardo score in 44 seconds.
I get that.
I think it's bad play calling, though. Why the hell would you blitz that? You literally put no one in coverage on the final play of the game.
Yeah.
Like, you had basically no coverage. Julian Grant had the step. Even if he didn't get the touchdown there, he was going to get the first down at about the 1. And Edmonton still had a timeout. And Cody Fajardo in short yardage and a game situation like that, he's getting a touchdown there in that situation.
Speaking of end of game, I meant to talk about this and it slipped my mind, but he just reminded me by the end of the game. Okay, Cody Fajardo play happened, yay, blah, blah, blah. But the second last game of the play, when Montreal had the ball,
I don't know what the hell they were doing.
What was that? The guy threw the ball so high that, like, Shea Alexander could have not catch that ball. Like, what are we doing, bro?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was a weird play.
But big ups to Edmonton's defense. They made critical stops in critical moments. But now I want to look forward to tomorrow, as we will be at the Argo games. I'm not sure if we'll be getting around to doing live shows tomorrow or not.
Well, here's what I think we should do. I think obviously we can't be at 2 places at once, so we cannot do a full-blown live pre-game show. But watch on all our social media. It's a Streakers Gaming on Instagram, Facebook, and Streakers Island on Facebook and Instagram, and we have the TikTok channels too and all of that. But we will do a live hit like what we did in Hamilton, possibly. Hopefully,
we will definitely be doing
depending on speakers and all that fun stuff. But I think what we can do is a double hitter tomorrow, and it'll be late here in Ontario. But we could do a post game.
We may not, Dan.
The Western game to wrap everything up.
It all depends because, truthfully, to do these shows, we need to watch the games in its entirety to get the entire story. Which means by the time we
can't watch the game on the train.
We may not be able to do a live, but that we will be going live on Sunday.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's what we're doing then. There you go. You can be a witness to our planning.
And in case you haven't seen our promo on what was going to be happening this weekend for live shows, I shot a promo where I got to spin around like a maniac. So we're going to go to that. Make sure you're ready for the Streakers Island Podcast live edition this weekend. We have CFO games going on. We have MLB games going on. Lane's probably going to get mad at Mitch Marner for some reason. So make sure you tune into the Streakers Island Podcast live every week. Every weekend we will go live. Lane is at a music festival and he's probably now I think I need to change that line to Tim White. For Lane.
I know, after last night, boy, that fumble. Wow. Talk about game-changing moment.
But now we look ahead. And you know what? I'm going to 2 games that, again, are very important for standings. The biggest one, not just saying it because I'm an Argo fan, but it is Toronto versus Ottawa. Because winner of this is in the driver's seat in the East.
100%. We're tied, right?
They're currently tied. Ottawa needs to not just win this game, but also run up the score to get the point spread, right? Because Toronto did beat them this year by 2 scores. But I mean, whoever gets this has the best shot of making the playoffs for third out of the East if they can hold off BC, Winnipeg, and Edmonton. But you know what? This is a game where, truthfully, you're expecting a lot from both teams. First, 5,000 fans do get a free Toronto Argonauts hat.
Not just any Toronto Argonauts hat, it's
the Winton McMahon Ride the Waves. Speaking of hats, these will be on our website very, very soon. Yeah. But our Pro Sports Guru retro hat, for anyone who's been part of the Streakers Nation for many years, before we even did this podcast, Pro Sports Guru was the name of the app. And these were the OG hats. So I had to do some convincing with Mr. Chazzy. I'm like, Chazzy, people need this hat. It's so cool. And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, no, you're going to sell them. So we basically had to get WWE in there. I wrestled. Dan was the official. Dan was very pleased that neither one of us were in spandex. And I won the wrestling match.
Well, Chazzy might not be so bad.
These retro hats will be available on our store ASAP, along with the last remaining of the Streakers Gaming shirts. New shirts are coming. I'm not quite sure when we will have them done, but new shirts will be coming. So make sure you get a chance to grab these Streakers Gaming t-shirts while we still have them. They will be on our store very soon, but you can also send us a message on Facebook or send us an email at streakersonpodcast@gmail.com. Right there on your screen. If you don't see it, open your eyes. If your eyes are closed, I don't know what to tell you. You should just open them. But those are the hats and the shirts that we currently have available that will be on our store very, 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 very soon. But now you have this now for Toronto and Ottawa. And no disrespect to Ottawa when I say this. If Shades was here in the comments, he'd be like, all the disrespect to Ottawa, they suck. And I don't think they suck per se.
No.
But I do feel Toronto is a better team than Ottawa.
I think so at this point. I think Toronto's got some momentum. They did beat Winnipeg 2 weeks ago. For the last game against Winnipeg, yeah, they lost, or they gave up 2
return touchdowns.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. You know, which you cannot. I said it's very hard to win a game in CFL by giving up 6 sacks. Well, it's also very hard to win a game in CFL by giving up 2 punt returning touchdowns. So that's misfortunate. But you look at Toronto's record and you look at paper. I'm not just saying this as a Argos fan, but there's quite a few games to look at it like, oh, well, you know, if there's like, if they did one this play.
Are not on the shirts yet, by the way. If you want shirts of our faces on it, I don't know if you want us to be like your sleep paralysis demon to what you're looking for, but anything can happen when Timothy goes to school. But continue, Mr. Morfor.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'll put my face on a shirt if you want it, whatever, you know. But it's like, yeah, like there's quite a few games where Toronto could have had one better play or one more play if they would have won the game. So, you know, and like we said before, any team can beat any team one game. Just because you squeeze in third in the conference into the final playoff spot for under 500 record for the season doesn't mean you can't win the Grey Cup, right? So anything can happen.
Very, very true, Dan. And you know what? You're looking Toronto with 10 games left in the year, including the one tomorrow. You feel like they probably, similar to Edmonton, their goal is probably to go 7-10. And yeah. I mean, that's not easy, but Toronto, you have Ottawa next, then Edmonton, then BC for your next 3. So Toronto's looking at these games like, okay, these are teams that we feel we're comparable to at least. Right? Because I think the main reason why I'm talking with Toronto is you kind of look at some of their games that even the ones they've lost, like they lost to Montreal 26-25.
Prime example, what I was saying.
Ended up 51-38. Like that was a winnable game without some critical errors. The game against the Rough Riders 39-32, just learn how to count to 12.
Yeah.
Has been one of the best teams in the league.
At least he can count to 4.
You lost 29-19. Like Toronto, they're losing games, but like they're not getting the doors blown off them most nights. Where Ottawa, mind you, they've lost some tight games too. Like they did lose on the 12th 23-20 to the Tiger Cats, but then losing to Hamilton 30-15, losing to Edmonton 39-33, losing to Toronto 29-19, beating Calgary in the rain, but then getting the doors blown off you against Montreal 39-18. Like, the games from Ottawa, in my opinion, just have not felt as close. Oh, apparently Key wants one with one of our faces, or maybe both. But we truly at the point in the season where every game is a matter of 2 or 3 play different. That is very true.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say this week, especially so far with the first 2 games, you have Tim White fumble basically cost you the game in that one. And tonight, I think Montreal trusted their defense, and it just couldn't get the job done. But it came down to the final 3 minutes, never mind final 2 minutes, never mind final 1 minute. It came down to the final 56 seconds.
See, I disagree with you. I think it comes right back to I love Bethel Thompson. I hate throwing him under the bus, but I think it comes down to Bethel Thompson overthrowing that ball with Speaker in the second quarter. If he made that play, he stays in the game. He finishes the game. We're up by 2 scores. I mean, none of that tightness in the last minute might have not even happened if that catch was made.
Well, very true. Instead, the score would have been 17-4 going into the half, instead of Montreal up 14-11, or whatever it was, 12-11, or it was at half. But I still feel at the end of the day, though, Dan, even with that mistake, Montreal had the lead this entire game until that final drive.
Oh, I hear you. I'm just saying.
You expect your defense to get a stop, but again, it's Cody.
Oh, you look at Montreal missing that field goal.
I love missing a field goal because that's a tough field goal. But it's
hear you, but it's still 3 points you didn't have.
It was Edmonton who missed the field goal. It's more Montreal.
No, it's Montreal because they're saying, they.
That was an extra point, not a field goal. Those are different.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, actually.
But I'm talking about when Edmonton misses the.
Then it would have been a tie game.
Yeah, but
they literally lost by 1 point.
But then you get, Edmonton. You more come down to, though, Edmonton misses the field goal. Montreal does the right thing by running it out because it's a tight game. You don't want to give up the point, but then fumbling the ball, right? So Montreal just made a couple more critical errors tonight than Edmonton, and I think this lately these teams have been so close. It's just whoever doesn't make the big mistake, and Montreal made 2 really big mistakes tonight, and those 2 big mistakes cost them 2 touchdowns. That's what you have to think. Points on turnovers are critical in the Canadian Football League. I think even more critical than the NFL. And
yeah, I agree.
Because of that,
because the NFL with the 4th down, if you have the league and you're smart with the clock and time management, with that 4th down and 40-second pay clock, you can really stress out that 4th quarter to your advantage. Versus the CFL, you only got 3 downs and you only have 20-second play clock. So if you give up the ball, it's really hard to make that time back.
And remember, in the last 3 minutes of each half, the clock stops every time they reset the play. So
that's true. I forgot about that.
So much more time. Now, though, you know what? Now you're looking at, I think tomorrow we're going to see some very close. I think the first game at least will be close between Toronto and Ottawa. I'm expecting both teams to come out really hard. Mm-hmm. Good news for Toronto. Sluka is back.
Yes.
Barton is back. McManus, who didn't practice half the week, is playing.
Good.
Daniels, who was practicing all the time this week, is playing.
Good.
Your only worry right now is Chatfield Jr. is a game time decision.
Why I heard that.
Yeah. And he is leading the Canadian Football League in sacks. However, the defensive line is starting to find other guys to make sacks as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're starting to see the rest of that defensive line coming alive. For Ottawa, I think the lineup's pretty much the same. No Dedmon, obviously, but Drew Brown and Addison both in the lineup. And Ottawa's just going to have to find a way. Because I do feel Toronto is a better structured team. Ottawa's just going to have to find a way to make plays. I think you could see Ottawa doing kind of what Toronto did against Winnipeg and trying to create a little bit of chaos.
I think Toronto's
a better for a double pass last week by Ottawa. Maybe they try something like that again.
I think Toronto's a better coach team than Ottawa.
I do. Bob Dice is definitely on the hot seat. I think Ryan Dimley.
I like Bob Dice. I really do. I feel bad calling him out, but facts are facts.
But then also, do you remember we do it the Bombers versus the Stamps at 7:00 for this doubleheader, and you're looking at both of these teams. Calgary's on a 2-game losing streak, mind you. Vern Adams Jr. has been injured.
Is he back?
Winnipeg is coming off a win against Toronto, but it was basically the punt team that got it done.
Is VA back?
Yes, he is.
Interesting. Wow.
I'll be honest, I'm expecting Calgary to blow the doors off Winnipeg again. I don't know. There's something about this Winnipeg team. And truthfully, I'm just going to call it out. I have zero faith in Zach Collaros this season.
Is he back?
Shown me.
Is Zach back?
Yes, he's playing. Zach Collaros is starting. That has been confirmed. Dan, you need to get up on your CFL lingo. Come on.
No, I'm also educating the viewers when I'm asking questions.
Fun fact,
right?
the Blue Jays are now down 2-1 to the Dodgers. So, oh no, Blue Jays. They don't play ball. Hopefully they find a way to win that one. Still in the 6th inning, tons of time. Scherzer's still in there at the moment with 4 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, 6 hits against. But the reason why I don't have faith in a guy like Zach Collaros right now is statistically, I'm sorry, but he's one of the worst starters, if not the worst in the league right now. Nick Arbuckle, who everyone is criticizing, has a higher efficiency rating than Zach Collaros.
Right.
You're looking Cody Fajardo, you're looking backups are doing better than Collaros right now.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking for this comment. And Dan, you've been called out on the island yet again. No, I think you just don't know anything. Just kidding.
Okay, then. Well, I may as well leave then. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye, Dan. I'm just kidding. Dan is no. Don't actually leave, Dan. Don't run away. Look at the big smile from Dan. Bigger. He's gonna hurt his jaw. That's enough, Dan. That's creepy as hell. But just so no one has to look at that, they just look at this beautiful analyst here. But you're looking at You're looking at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and your top players just aren't being top players. Dylan Mitchell is coming into the lineup, though, which fans have been only screaming for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's not just all on Zach Collaros, I will say.
No.
The big one for me is actually Brady Oliveira. He is 5th in the league with rushing, but the yard spread between 5th and 1st, with Butler with 704, Oliveira with 310. Mind you, the carries are drastically different.
Butler's first?
Butler's first of 704. He's
good for him. Wow.
You are looking, Oliveira was injured, obviously, so this is only over 5 games of 60 carries, averaging 5.2 yards a carry. His numbers are bad.
Still, but he's not dominating the way he did.
They're not jumping off the page. Right, where you're looking at guys actually, I'm gonna give a big shout out to Thomas Erlington. Hopefully his injury's not long term. He's been playing really well in Montreal this year.
Yeah.
You have Diedrich Mills, who's had, besides of that one game last week, has been very, very good. AJ Ouellette looks really back to form. Between Stanback and Onababoye, Ottawa's found a running game between running those two good running backs. Funny enough, Onababoye is actually the one I always thought the Argos should have kept. Now you're looking here, and you just want someone in Winnipeg to step up. Because even receiving, Winnipeg's top receiver is Dembski at 13th. That's an issue. Right now, first is Kenny Lawler, second Devontae Coxey, third Hatcher, fourth White, fifth Sneed, sixth Johnson, seventh Myers, eighth Smith out of Hamilton, ninth Eugene Lewis, and 10th Justin McInnes.
I'm surprised Lewis is so low.
Remember, though, Drew Brown's been injured for about at least a quarter of the season.
I get that, yeah, but still.
Back to the comment section we go, but he never gets my fantasy points. 5th in his category. Yeah. Oliveira has not been putting up the numbers that he normally does, and that's been an issue. But you're also looking at Winnipeg years past, someone always stepped up. You're looking, I think they're really missing a guy like Pokey Wilson.
Lucky Whitehead?
Lucky Whitehead. I mean, he wasn't great for them last year, but he was still another guy that they had access to.
Yep.
Like Winnipeg's receiving core has just not been.
I know it's nothing
phenomenal, and to be honest, too, their defenses at times. Like, let's look at the quarterback sacks here right now. Actually, Montreal Isaiah Berglund is now up to first with 7 sacks.
Well, after
then Chatfield is second at 6. Hughes in Calgary with 4. Malik Carney with 4 as well. Sean Oakman with 4 as well. Aaron Casey, Toronto with 4. Kendricks with 4 again. Shea Raish with 4. Like Winnipeg's top sack is Tony Jones with 3. But then after that, your next best for Winnipeg is, holy moly, they don't have another guy on the first page for sacks.
Why aren't they bringing back Adam Bighill? I called it at the beginning of the year here.
And he's not even healthy, and he signed in Calgary. Your next best is James Ventures with 2. And Willie Jefferson with 2. Now, Willie Jefferson, obviously, with tackles for loss and knockdowns and things like that, is having a great year. But even when we look at interceptions, like your top one for Winnipeg for interceptions is, funny enough, the guy you just cut in Bridges, who has 2. So he's not even on the roster anymore.
I was surprised. Who picked him up?
No one. And then Tony Jones again with 1. Winnipeg's defense is just not playing up to its caliber that it has in years past. And I think that's why you're seeing them struggle. I've always said this Winnipeg team is built on defense, not offense. Yes, they have offensive weapons. Mind you, Dalton Schoen being injured half the year certainly isn't helping. I'm sure everyone who wanted Kenny Lawler instead of Dalton Schoen must be very upset.
And of course, they're missing Tarski out Hamilton, too.
And Wolotarski as well. And I'll be very curious to see if Dylan Mitchell makes an impact.
Yeah, I think he will.
He has the ability to. He had a couple of really good years in Edmonton.
He did, yeah.
I'm very surprised it's taken this long to get him into the lineup.
Me too.
I don't understand that at all from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But like I said, 2 really big games. So I do quickly want to ask you, Mr. Moore,
yes, sir.
I believe we're both taking Toronto for the actually, before we get into my questions, back to the comment section we go. I do like Jones, I will say that, and that because he reminds me of Myles Garrett. Yeah, you know what? Tony Jones is a really, really solid player. He's been able to make some big plays, a big impact for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are in jeopardy of missing the Grey Cup. When the Grey Cup is in Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. But I'm assuming, Dan, we're both taking Toronto over Ottawa, if I had to make a guess.
Sorry I make boring TV, but yeah, I think, I'm an Argos fan, it's not going to lie. But taking the fan blinders off, I'm still picking the Argos because, like I said, Argos did beat Winnipeg 2 weeks ago, and we gave up only 1 touchdown punt return versus 2. They could have won the second game as well. So I'm taking the Argos.
Also, too, Toronto has won 8 of the last 9 versus the Ottawa Red Blacks. Now, for the second game, I don't know if you agree with me, Dan, but I'm saying Calgary in a blowout. Because I'm picking Calgary in a blowout in that one. We had the over-under for points in that game on the Streakers app at 49, which I'm still taking less on that because I think Calgary's going to put up 30, and I don't think Winnipeg's going to be able to put up 19.
I'm taking the over because I think Zach Collaros is going to have a big game.
So then are you thinking Winnipeg will win?
I still think Calgary's going to win the game. But we saw this last year, too, right? About this time last year, everyone's like, oh, Zach Collaros is done. He's got to retire, blah, blah, blah. Then about the week before Labor Day, he really stepped it up and got into the Grey Cup for a 5th time in a row. So I think Zach Collaros is going to have a big game. And then completely
blew it in the finals.
I get that, but I'm just saying I think he's going to have a big game today. I think, well, it's not today yet. But.
So are you taking him for our props? We had him at 250 and a TD.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he's going to get that done.
I'm not. Okay. So if you remember, figure out who's right between Dan and I. What about Vernon Adams Jr., 300 and 2 TDs? His props harder because I think he's a better quarterback.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Calgary combined 115 rushing yards?
It's a lot, but yes.
Winnipeg, 4 knockdowns. Ooh. I'm saying no on that one, by the way. I think it'll be around 2.
I'm going to say yes. Willie Jefferson's been playing really big on knockdowns lately.
So before we sign off, why don't we go over the props as well for the Argonauts on the Streakers app?
And everyone can join on the Streakers app. Log in, download the app, and go to the Streakers Island Sports channel, right? And you can challenge us all these props with us.
But do not click on the random link that some cat person put in the chat. Steamboat does not exist. It is fake news, as Dan loves to say. But let's get into the Argonauts versus the Red Blacks and our props for that one. Is Argonauts allowing 3 sacks or less? I hate saying it. It's going to be a no for me, dog. This O-line's been bad. I think Arbuckle's going to be under a lot of pressure again. And I think Ottawa will get at least 3 sacks. I think Ottawa will get at least 4 sacks, I should say.
I disagree with you. I think we're only going to allow 2 sacks.
Okay. Do you think Ottawa can create 2 turnovers?
No.
I agree with you on that. Drew Brown, 270 yards and 2 TDs.
270 yards. I'm going to say yes to Drew Brown, yeah.
I'm going to say no. Coxie, 2 catches for over 30 yards per catch.
Oh, 100%.
I'm going to say no. I think we'll only get 1. I hope I'm wrong. But now let's go back to the comment section. Sorry, I just had something. I scratched my foot. Dan, do you also wake up on Wednesday thinking a TV will fall out of the sky and force another Federo cheese fight? Makes about as much sense as Caleros having a high-scoring game.
So, yes, I do. Cheese it is.
I got to agree with Key there. I think Caleros is just... This might be his last year as a starter in the CFL. Like, phenomenal career from the man.
So we're going to have Caleros and Bethel Thompson as backups next year.
At Bethel Thompson, I don't even think he's going to be in the league next year.
Ooh.
Well, why would he be?
Back at diaper duty?
I think he's just going to retire.
Yeah, diaper duty.
Maybe he'll go back to the XFL.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? He'll become a water boy. But
he'd never be thirsty.
True. You know, water boys in the NFL make $75,000 a year.
Holy cow! Sign me up.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think it is time for us to call it a night. In the 7th inning, the Jays are still currently down 2-0. Scherzer has pitched all 6 innings so far for the Blue Jays. Heading into the 7th, 6 innings, 5 strikeouts, only 2 earned runs.
Good for him.
But I think it is time we sign off for tonight. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure you're following all the social medias, as we're going to be posting out a lot of video content tomorrow while we are at the Argos versus Red Blacks. And tune in Sunday for our live show of the going over the NHL 26 trailer. And I'm sure we're going to end up talking some CFL that show as well.
Well, of course, we don't have to talk about double headers on Saturday.
Exactly. So we'll be doing a live show.
And probably some baseball too with the series in Los Angeles.
Very true. But thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Buy a hat.
The hats will be, like I said, we'll be getting those. We'll be getting those hats very soon. Thanks for staying on during my 7-minute drive home. You are very welcome.
No problem.
10-minute drive down to 7. Now that's efficient. That's an efficiency rating higher than Zach Caleros on the football field.
That's beating Google on Google Maps. Good job.
But thank you very much for watching. I'm the self-proclaimed sports analyst. That's Mr. More for Your Money. Look how happy.
Woo!
We will see you guys on social media tomorrow. Have a beautiful night and stay beautiful, Streakers Island.
Bye-bye.